are new to property investing. So for them, they want something that's simple. It depends on their ability to have the cash flow to renovate, their ability to put on granny flats and things like that. So as Jack said, that you've got to look at the client, their specific circumstances, their risk taking, etc. So this example here, this is a client that was actually one of Jeremy's clients as well. He bought this property about 12 months ago for $314,000. It's in Eagles Landing, which is a nice park, very similar to Kings Park, Kings Langley up in Queensland. 880 square block, but it was on a slope, so that turned off quite a few buyers, but we could see the potential that you could put a granny flat on it. This granny flat builder is an excellent builder. He was able to build it on a slope. He just finished that not long ago, about $144,000, and he gets about $650 a week.
That's actually going up.
Oh, is it?
It's 720.
Oh, 720. Well, there you go. He did when he put on the granny flat, one thing that when you get the construction loan for the granny flat, he added into the quotes and work to be done with the front house. So that's a few other things that you learn, tricks of the trade, so that you're not forking out a lot of cash. Then he added that to the construction cost of the granny flat to fix up a bit of the kitchen and things like that. So $720 a week rent. So his return on investment is fabulous. One of his, I think, Jeremy, his strategy, I think he's looking at cash flow.
Yeah, he was the type of client that he went to a seminar about 6 years ago and was sold on negative gearing. So he went and bought Macquarie Park and all these other properties with significantly low yields, and his negative gearing was probably anywhere between 15 to 20,000 per year. And the last 2 or 3 acquisitions have really been about balancing his portfolio, and that property alone has actually turned his whole portfolio, where it was quite negative, into something quite neutral, and then adding a couple of those other cash flow positive properties where he's been able to do granny flats or buy it at a relatively low price, he now has a positive geared investment portfolio. So that's one of the things where he changed as his knowledge grew, and Christine helped him along the way.
That property, the other recent sales when he bought that were around that 340 to 350 for anything of that sort of block size. So it came down to me knowing the local agent, which is what buyers agents do, is they get to know the local agents intricately. So if a deal falls over, they know that we've got clients that have got finance pre-approved and ready to go, and they'll ring us up and say, hey, this one's fallen over, have you got anyone ready to go? And that was the example of that one. I secured another one in the same suburb yesterday. This one we managed to get over the line. Our offer was a little bit less than what other people were offering, but the owners of it have got an extended settlement on their purchase, so we were happy to rent it back to them. So that was an incentive. So when it comes to buying, right, it's not only the price but also the terms. So if you can get good terms on it as well, so we've got a tenant in there for the next 3 to 6 months while they finish their other purchase. So that one's, they've got granny flat potential on it. This client, they've got, what they did was that they meet with their financial advisor. They've got superannuation coming in, but they've looked at the long term, what that superannuation is going to be, and they've realised that their goal is, say for example, to have $2,500 a week. They've realised that they're going to have a shortfall of maybe nearly $1,000 from their superannuation. So a way for them to fund that shortfall in that lifestyle that they want in retirement is through property. So for them, it's trying to find properties that have that granny flat potential and that cash flow potential, so that when they eventually retire, they'll own those properties outright, and they'll be able to have that cash flow. For them, it's hopefully only 2 or 3 properties that will have granny flats on them that will have that cash flow for them. So an important part as a buyer's agent is knowing what their long-term strategies are, and knowing each purchase whether that is going to help them achieve their end goals as well.
Christine, is that in a self-managed super fund because you mentioned the super there?
No, this one's outside the super fund, but it will help them in retirement. They'll own that one outright, and that cash flow will help them in retirement. This other one up the top, I think this one's a new investor. They've got very low risk. They're the sort of people that they just wanted a set and forget type property. So this one's only, I think it was a 2009 build. So it's still got the bonus of some depreciation as well. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage in the Ipswich region, a suburb called Brassel. It's only 2 minutes drive to the M2. It's got a Woolworths going into the estate in the next 12 months. Close to all the factors for growth. So it's got infrastructure, population growth. So the Ipswich region, I think it's forecast to grow by another 250,000 over the next 13 years. So population, increase in demand in properties. Bought it for $320,500 and it's got a rental return of $370 a week. So for them it's neutral to slightly positive based on their individual circumstances. So when it comes to working out cash flow, everyone's going to be different depending on what the interest rate is on the loan. So as you would know, depending on who their lender is, so if it's a big bank it could be 3 point or 4 point something.
Yeah.
But if they can't get those sort of loans, they could be through Liberty or Pepper, and
They're
the
high
interest rates are a
fives,
bit
yeah,
higher.
yeah.
So that will affect obviously the overall cash flow. When I'm looking at properties, I not only take into account the interest rates they're paying, but also things like council rates, water rates, landlord insurance, their property management fees. So you can see the approximate cash flow, or if it's the opposite, how much it's going to cost to hold that property every week.